This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Ag AM in Kansas. I'm Brityne Rucker. They may spend much of their time underground, but it's the telltale signs that moles leave above the ground that irks many homeowners. Here to speak more on this is Charlie Lee, Extension Wildlife Specialist from Kansas State University. Welcome, Charlie.
Thanks for having me.
Charlie, are there any early warning signs to identify you have a mole issue?
Well, there's nothing really early. When they show up, you're going to see the surface runways, those raised ridges in the yard that sometimes will be raised up an inch or two. If they've been there for a while, by then the grass may have died out and you would see a brown stripe of grass. And occasionally you will see molehills, larger mounds of soil that's pushed up. The hills are typically pushed up when the ground is dry and moles have to go deeper for their food source. So those would be the two signs that most folks see when they have moles in their turf.
And how much damage can these moles really do if they're not taken care of?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer on the dollar damage. Much of the time I consider it aesthetic damage. Is there really an economic loss to having your turf a little rougher? Occasionally they will damage plants in a garden, not by chewing on plants, because moles are insectivores, eating insects and earthworms and other invertebrates. But they get blamed because their digging disrupts young, newly planted plants in gardens, and then those plants die. So there would be a direct economic loss associated with losing some plants. And there's probably a direct economic loss with having to reseed or your turf, or perhaps rolling down the ridges from time, but I don't know how to quantify that loss.
So what are some control methods that individuals can use?
Well, when we talk about control, it's very simple in my opinion, because there's only one technique that works. Most of the time when we talk about wildlife damage control, the options include, first you modify the habitat, then you can use some sort of device to exclude the animal from the area or remove the animal. So those are the three main categories of solving wildlife problems. For moles, you might as well skip the first two and go right to removing the animal. It's been said, if you don't learn how to trap moles, you're going to have to learn how to live with them, because there's really no other technique that's been effective.
So are there any prevention methods that you can use to control moles?
There are a lot of things that have been tried. The only science behind any of the repellents is there is one paper done in Michigan from a gentleman that had used castor oil to prevent moles from coming back into a yard. When you look at the castor oil based products that are on the market, they mention waiting till the moles are there and then drive them out with the castor oil. Talked to a lot of folks that have tried that technique, and it would be a stretch to say that it was inconsistent at best. Frankly, most say that it has no efficacy at all.
So people that have never dealt with moles, what would be the first thing that you would tell them?
The first thing would be read up on moles, look at our extension publication on moles, and learn how to trap them.
Well, Charlie, a big thank you for being on the program.
No problem. Again, thanks for having me.
I'm Brityne Rucker, and this has been Ag AM in Kansas.